All right. If cases are pending in court, what happens in that during that period? Does he cease to hold office? Can the president go ahead and nominate a new person to be the deputy president? And if he nominates, what's the procedure of actually getting a new deputy president? So take us through that. What does the law say?
Okay. The law gives the path and gives the days. As soon as he's impeached, within 14 days, the president should now nominate the next deputy president, who should be vetted and approved by the National Assembly within 60 days. So that's the Constitution. There's a court process on one end, there's impeachment process on one end. So true, once the Senate says, okay, we agree, Gachagua go home, he can continue his fights, but unlike in the case of a governor, the courts cannot injunct, the courts cannot say stay in office in this case. So he must continue his work.
Why can the courts not say stay in office?
You see, the thing is that where is that provision? Where is that? Because already, by the time, let's agree here.
Okay.
By the time he's impeached, if he's impeached by Senate at 1 minute to midnight,
yes,
or there will be a Gazette notice at exactly midnight,
yes,
which is issuing that
vacancy,
vacancy, and the following morning at 6 a.m. you will see an appointment. Somebody will have been appointed, and the same day, on the same hour, transmission will be in the National Assembly, and the same day the National Assembly will be convening. The Speaker will be convening the National Assembly. Such is our.
But you're saying that there is no legal provision for the courts to halt that process.
You see, the thing is this. We are dealing with a process that's defined in the law. It is saying that the impeachment will happen in the National Assembly and
shall be confirmed
by the Senate. So once the Senate has confirmed it, that process is complete. So what are you injuncting? Who are you injuncting?
It's the same thing that happens in the case of governors, is it not? County Assembly,
yes.
Senate,
yes,
does it.
That's true. We've done that in the case of
Wambora is still served 2 terms. Yes. Kawera Mwangaza is still a governor. Is there anything in law that had said that the court can interfere with that process? No. But it's the courts have.
We are dealing with a very unique situation, and we are dealing with the deputy president. You see, the deputy president, there's a process called a political doctrine, or there's a doctrine called a political doctrine. Matters politics are left to political processes. And in that case, the courts down their tools to not want to be part of the political process. Because what you're dealing with here is not technically a legal process. You're saying that all that the Assembly needed to do is raise the numbers, which they have done. All that the Senate needed to do is to raise the numbers which they might have. And once that is done, they've raised numbers this way. Process of the National Assembly is the standing orders. Process on this side is the standing orders. Now, these standing orders are internal to those houses. When you come to court, what are you coming to say? You are coming to clear your name. You are coming to say, I am not guilty of these things. But the political impeachment has happened.
The question is, what then are you taking to court?
Clearing your name.
So clearing your name.
Yeah.
Can you challenge the processes? Because we talked about it earlier on, and I said you can challenge the process in court.
Yeah, but you see what has Parliament done? They will purport, they have said they have used their processes, and we know how has been trying to go to court and hasn't gotten any injunction on the process. It's now going to the Senate. Now, what all the Senate needs to do is to follow its process. And again, once the process is being followed, unless it's being violated, the courts will do nothing about it. They will not come and say, we don't know.
But it doesn't stop whoever it is who feels that they require justice beyond what has been meted out in either the National Assembly or the Senate. It doesn't stop them from going to court to challenge the process.
You see, there are 2 things when you go to court to do. You challenge the process and you challenge the legality of the process.
Yes.
So let's say that Parliament acted legally in looking at what the issues were. Yes, we are saying here that they were more political than they were, but they might even have raised non-issues, but they seem to have had the numbers and they voted, again procedurally.
So what constitutes the legality of the process?
Number one, did they go through the process as outlined that
In the Constitution.
in the Constitution and also in the standing orders?
Yes.
Number two, did they afford the public to participate? They went and did their whatever amounted to public participation. Number three, and you see the problem we have with public participation in this country is that we still don't have a law, so it's either this or that. So it's what you say it is. They even came back with statistics and say the number that said yes and the number that said no. So there is some kind of a semblance of public participation. Number three, did they afford Gachagua an opportunity to come and defend himself?
They did.
They did. Then did they vote on each of the issues or
They
did. And then they finished that. Now, have they transmitted that decision to the Senate within the timelines?
They have.
Done. So if you go to that process, there's nothing much you'll fault.